What's up, people? It's Adam Hunter here. I'm here with my man, CB Gold. He's
What's
back.
What's up, guys? I am here. I'm alive. I'm doing okay.
Yes, the Greg Wilson's coming in. We got Jessica I on the show. We got Phil Baroni. It's going to be quite the show.
Where is Phil Baroni right now?
Probably either at a bar or
a strip club.
In some chick or punching a rock. Who knows what he's doing? However, listen. Marijuana is legal. Yes, it is legal in California, and it can be delivered. So why leave your house to get it? Okay, what's the point of that? What's the point of having to leave, going to a whole new? It's a pain in the ass. You order Chinese food, you order delivery, you order pizza. Some people order escorts. Marijuana is the same, okay? I hate getting out of my car, going to a dispensary, finding parking, burning gas. Who knows? And you're driving home, and then the cop pulls you over and doesn't know whatever it is. All of a sudden, you have all this marijuana on you, and you get tested. What a disaster, okay? Don't fall for that. Get it delivered to you. Speedweed will take care of it. They got the best edibles. They got marijuana. They got CBD. They got vape pens. They got THC sex lube, okay? Trust me on this one. It is the way to go, okay? Speedweed.com. Check them out. Follow them at Speedweed. Mention Roasted, and you get $10 off orders of $100 or more, okay? And it's the shit. I'm telling you, Speedweed, they're good people, and they will take care of you. And people need to be taken care of. Also, Santa Cruz Medicinals. Okay, they got everything. They got CBD infused MCT oil. You put it under your tongue, and it provides a potent, fast-acting dose of CBD to help you feel better. Don't waste your money on overpriced, low-quality brands. Okay, rock with a brand you can trust. scmedicinals.com, and they have olive oil. They have vegetable oil. You can put it in your coffee. You can make any recipe CBD infused. Okay, I use it for pain relief. Okay, I put it in my coffee. I'm telling you. They have all kinds of stuff. Just mention Roasted, you get $5 off. Not only that, they also have a vape pen. The best vape pen you're ever going to see, okay, is their CBD vape pen. Okay, it comes fully charged, ready to use, take out of the box, and say goodbye to stress. Okay, go to scmedicinals.com. You got to check out their vape pen, okay? Their vape pen, I use it also. You can vape all day long, all right? They have that. They also have their CBD-infused Brussels sprouts are one of the better things you can put in your body, okay? And these people rule, all right? scmedicinals.com, okay? Check them out. All kinds of stuff. They could CBD-infused olive oil. You put it on the Brussels sprouts. They're not going to send you Brussels sprouts. You put the olive oil on the Brussels sprouts. Make your food, okay? Feel better. I highly recommend this. They got all, I'm looking at their thing right now. They have a CBD-infused lavender clay mask, okay? And then you can put it on your face. Your girl needs to look better, okay? Want to feel better? Okay, you put the clay mask on her, and she's hotter. All of a sudden, her skin is better, and you're doing it. Okay, they have CBD-infused clay mask. How cool is that? The Greg Wilson's coming in right now. I'm looking at, they got all kinds of stuff, okay? So check them out. scmedicinals.com. Mention Roasted. Get that vape pen. Get that clay mask. Get that olive oil. Get that vegetable oil, okay? You're going to thank me. You will thank me. The Greg Wilson just walked in. My man, Greg Wilson. So what's going on? I just got back. I was in town this week doing comedy. I work for the PFL. How'd
that go?
That was awesome. Me, Alan Jabon came over. We called the fights, and I'm telling you, PFL is going to be on par with the UFC pretty soon. I know they will.
They're doing it right. They're building it right. Is that what you're saying?
They're building it right because the best guy wins, and it doesn't matter what you're ranked. Okay, if you win the tournament, you win $1 million. Okay, and all you got to win. You got to win 2 fights you got to score during the before the tournament. You got to get the point system, rounds. Right? So you got to get 6 points for a knockout, blah blah. Then you make the tournament, and then you win 3 fights, and you win $1 million. 3 fights to win $1 million.
That's pretty great. That's going to attract some talent.
Well, if I'm in the UFC or if I'm in Bellator or if I'm in one of the other companies, I'm looking over and I'm seeing, okay, Steven Siler is fighting Lance Palmer for $1 million, and I'm like, I think I could beat Steven Siler or Lance Palmer. I'm fighting for 20 and 20 on
I was
a
gonna say,
UFC fight card.
There's a small fraction of people in the UFC that are actually making $1 million a fight. So this is incredibly enticing to anybody in the MMA world.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter like how many Twitter followers you have. They don't care. They look. You get your shot. You win. Okay.
It's not all based on money.
It's not based on it. And so I'm telling you, a lot of guys are gonna be coming over. Right now they have six weight classes right now.
Yeah.
They're gonna expand. They're gonna have a women's 155 next year, which I don't know who they're gonna find.
I was gonna say those are some. That's big.
165.
155.
155.
Yeah, Kayla Harrison is like she's a 2-time gold medalist. We had her on the podcast, so she's like the heavy favorite. But I know Leslie Smith wants to be in it, and I think a lot of girls that can fight at 145 are gonna be like, you know what, I might as well take my shot.
Why should I cut weight? You know?
I mean, Kayla Harrison has had 3 fights.
It's only 10 pounds. You know, there's people going up 20 in the UFC.
I mean, Tanya Evinger walks around at like 160. So if I'm Tanya and I'm like, I could fight, I'm ranked number 11 or 12, and I'm like, I could go up to there and fight 55. To fight Kayla Harrison's the number 1 seed. She's had 3 fights. Not to mention, she's a great fighter, but she's had 3 fights.
Even their new names are really good. You look at guys like Ray Cooper. Nobody really knew who he was, and all of a sudden he's a world beater now, and everybody's, oh shit, Ray Cooper. Like, he's no name.
So Ray Cooper, over the weekend, he knocked out 2 guys quickly, one of them being Jake Shields. So Jake Shields beat Ray's father back in the day. And I honestly think that was the biggest mistake Jake could have done as far as this tournament goes, because this guy's Hawaiian, and Hawaiians take that shit very personally. Because Ray Cooper, before this, was like, I think he has like a 10-4 record, but it was not. I mean, he was
a bit of a journeyman.
He was a minus 14. He was a plus 1,400 underdog.
Wow.
Against Shields?
The first fight.
Holy
Then he
fuck.
went to negative 300 favorite. But he was a plus 1,400. I mean, they were giving this guy no fucking chance.
Right.
Knocks out Jake Shields and then does it again. And
You
Jake,
probably enjoyed it more the second time.
but Jake Shields knows what's going to happen. And Jake Shields is a fucking smart fighter. We're talking about a guy who went 5 rounds with GSP. Jake Shields beat a lot of guys.
A lot.
He beat Tyron Woodley. I mean, Jake Shields beat Tyron Woodley. And this dude, I think Hawaiians just take things very personally.
Tapped out Robbie Lawler, I think.
Well, they got a lot of pride.
A lot of pride. I didn't realize when I was in Hawaii that like Americans, Hawaiians are Americans, but we assume like, oh, Hawaiians love being a part of America.
No, they don't.
They do not.
They're like
No,
their
they
own
hate
culture.
us.
Yeah.
And listen, let me tell you something. As someone who spent time there and actually gotten to know some Hawaiian people, if I were Hawaiian, I wouldn't like us either. I mean, they were just living out there, enjoying their lives, and then we showed up and we're like, "Oh, this is great! I'm bringing everybody here."
Yeah.
And guess what? Now these are our beaches. Get the fuck off.
And if
them.
there's a war, they're the
And
first ones being bombed too.
Yeah,
they're the ones getting
like
the
we
missile.
just shoved them
Like,
off
what
of their
the fuck did
beach,
we
and they're
do?
like, they were just like, nobody can own a beach. This is a beach. Like, no, we own it now. But here's the great part: you can serve us food. Like that's what basically has happened. So I mean, I think
they might like, although they might like having the U.S. military behind them.
I'm sure that is the case. I'm sure but that is the major advantage. Aside from that, I mean, it's basically colonialism. It's basically us showing up, going, "Let us use your fucking island. Let us use it as a toilet all we want," and they're just like, "Fuck you."
And that's why there's local beaches that if you go try to surf them, the locals
They
are
don't
like,
want-
get the
yeah,
fuck
dude.
out
Well,
of
also,
here.
but it's weird. Look, you meet someone who's from Hawaii, right? When I love Hawaiians, but they're also they're a very family oriented culture, and they take things very personally. So if someone
Yeah.
beat up my dad, I'm like, we're on. And unfortunately, Jake Shields was the guy who it was on. He got fucking steamrolled by this kid Ray Cooper III.
I think though the lesson here is if you're fighting the son of a man you knocked out, maybe you shouldn't be fighting anymore. Maybe your career ended a few years ago, like that guy's father.
Yeah, but he's trying to get $1 million.
You know what's funny
No,
about
he's
it?
not. He's
Jake
at
Shields-
home now.
Well, now he is, but Jake Shields needs to.
So,
You know what it reminds me
I mean,
of?
I can understand. He's like, "Hey, let me buy my lottery ticket," but
It does seem like no, and that's the thing with this.
How do you bridge that kind?
That's
That's
the
a
thing.
15-year gap.
And that's the thing with a lot of former UFC guys. They entered this tournament. Guys like Rick Story and Jake Shields, and I think that
Vinny Magalhaes.
Vinny Magalhaes is on a different level, but we'll talk about that for a second. But a lot of these guys guys thought they could just steamroll like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And Rick Story found out pretty quickly that was not going to happen. Also, the guy John Howard, another guy who Eddie Truck Gordon, a lot of former UFC vets that were looking really good. They had a tough time. Come in.
The thing with,
Somebody's here. Is this
I believe it's the.
This is my wife and
Oh,
kids.
it is! Yay!
Yes.
Hello.
It looks like you have an extra microphone. Can I be on the podcast today?
That actually, Mike, is not working. No, I swear.
That's always an excuse. There's not enough microphones. You can't be on the podcast.
That's my wife.
Does your wife want to be on the podcast?
He keeps wanting to be on the podcast.
Why do you want to be on the podcast?
Because it's such a big part of your life. And I mean, you talk so much shit. I have to say my piece.
You know what I think it is? I think your wife should get like a 3-minute segment, 3 to 5 minute segment.
Well, her and her friends want to do MMA Toasted.
I was
going to
say she already coined MMA Toasted months ago.
where they drink wine and talk about fights they haven't seen.
I say they do it, and you just insert it here and there.
Sure,
I think it's great.
I'm all
and that's
for
the
it.
thing is, she does. She probably does watch all these fights because she's sitting right next to you. That's like Summer, my fiance, knows more about football than she ever wanted to know.
Yes.
But from sitting next to me, watching the games, and then listening to me record my little podcast, she knows way more than she ever thought she would know.
Mine
Yeah.
too on
Yeah.
MMA. Like
Yeah.
she's learning, and every few weeks she'll be like, "Are you proud of me for all I've learned?" I'm like, "You kind of can't not learn when I'm screaming at the fucking TV all the time." And like, this is my whole life.
Yeah.
The Ray Cooper thing, I just want to say really quickly, it makes me think of The Princess Bride with Inigo Montoya. Like, my
You
name is
killed my
Inigo
father.
Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare
Prepare
to
to
die.
die.
Like, that's literally what it made me. Like, he beat his dad. Now
That's
it's
all you're
20
thinking
years
of. Like,
of
if
revenge.
you're, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're fighting his son, maybe you shouldn't be fighting anymore.
Yeah, maybe. That's
I mean,
actually
Jake
a good
Shields
point.
debuted in the UFC at UFC 121, which I think was like 10 years ago, or 9 years ago now. And it's like, holy shit,
And
dude.
that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, this thing is he's obviously past his prime, but I get it. You shot at $1 million. You're still a great fighter. You still know how to fight. You didn't forget how to fight.
I think that's. I think a lot of guys overlook the, because there's a lot of these guys from Dagestan and Brazil in this.
Yeah.
And they're 10-1, or some of these guys like. They were 6-1 in the UFC.
Yeah.
I thought they guys thought it was going to be an easier road than it was. It's also interesting in the PFL during the regular season, like the rematches. A lot of guys are losing the rematches. But we talked about Vinny Magalash. There's a guy who people thought he should hang it up after the Dave Branch fight. He didn't look that great against Matt Hamill. And now all of a sudden, $1 million on the line, he's knocking everyone out with like head kicks and like flying scissors and like Superman punches. Like, the guys are very motivated by this $1 million.
No, $1 million is a motivating amount of money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's what I did Saturday night.
sort of like the Mega Millions, 1.6 billion. Did you guys get your
Did
tickets?
anyone win last night? Or is
I think it's tonight.
It's tonight?
It's tonight.
Oh, when's the last?
At 7 p.m.
Yes.
His last call, 6:59.
Well, Adam's going to take a quick break from the show.
exactly.
Greg and
So
I
you
are
have
going to
till
hold on.
7. Go to that 7-Eleven
What would you? I
down the
was thinking,
street.
like, what would you do? First of all, would you want the lump payout or would you
Lump
want
sum.
Lump sum.
Why?
You're still making like $400
Well,
million.
because the annuity, is based over like I think 40 years or something like that. And let's be honest, is there anyone here that's going to be around another 40 years? Let's get it all right now. Use it to our best advantage now. Especially lump sum on 1.6 billion is still going to be probably $1 billion.
No, you're looking at when it was like 800 or 900 million. The lump sum was like 450 million.
Still, so you're looking at $750 million.
Yeah.
Okay,
you're
now
looking
what
at
would
a
you
shit
do
ton of
with that money? Talk to me.
I've already
I know
decided.
exactly what I would do.
What's that?
I would buy the Comedy Store and fire everybody. And then I'd buy the Laugh Factory and fire everybody there. Improv, they can hang.
Okay.
And
all
I'll
right.
have their fun too.
Okay, so come on. What would you do? That's
No,
good.
seriously, that's exactly what I would do.
You would not do
My
that.
girl and I have
Why
been
not?
discussing
That
this
would
for 2
take-
weeks.
that would take maximum $50 million. I'm
those
being too
comics
loud.
would
I
just go
scared the
somewhere
baby.
else.
I scared the baby. I'm sorry.
Yes, those comics just go somewhere else.
I would
That's
buy
fine.
my.
Let him go somewhere else.
I would buy a plot of land. My girl and I have talked about this. Build our dream home. I would also pay my apartment building to kick out the tenants above me, and then pay 2 years of rent for the apartment above me, just so I don't have to hear people stomping on the ground all day.
And that's the other thing. I wouldn't fire the comics. I would fire the management.
Oh, right.
I mean, I would fire half the comics.
But they ever get another job in 2
But I
seconds.
mean, there's a bunch that I would. Really, my beef isn't with the comics. I love
Yeah.
my problem is with the management, as it is with every club that I don't work at.
Peter Berman had a good thing. He goes, he goes, if I won $1 million, I would go to like the World Series and buy every ticket. It's like,
And watch it by yourself.
Yeah, and then he goes, and how great would that look on like TV? It's just one guy in the stands,
Just yelling.
and yelling like "You suck!" And like a foul ball comes,
You
like
have
I'll get
to
it
hear
later.
it.
That was like when they had to play that one game. Like there was a rain out or something, so they had to play it like.
Oh, yeah, no one was there.
And no one was there because they just replayed it like the next day after like a hurricane. So nobody came to it. So he said it was so weird because you could hear everybody, all the players yelling at each other, like communicating in the outfield and doing all that business, going, hey, go to there, run, I got it. Like all the little things talking to each other at the base. Those conversations, you could hear all of that because there was nobody at the game. But it was still televised. It was a very weird thing.
By the way, I've been taking my daughter to wrestling practice.
I saw that.
She loves it.
That was hilarious.
She's like walking. She tries to walk. I tell the kids every time she cries, you guys owe me sprawls. And then and then when she's sleeping, I'm like, look how boring you guys are. My kid's sleeping. Somebody had a funny picture. I was holding her like I am now. Her head's on my chest. Someone said she has horrible underhooks.
That's very funny. That's a good joke. I think I scared her though, being too loud.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's all
She's
good.
a little boy.
But she likes wrestling practice.
Yeah.
We put her in an Iowa cheerleading outfit.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's so cute.
It's okay.
Little boys.
I was thinking like what I would do. Like, I don't think honestly. Like, first of all, I would make that movie because like people who want to know about Pinned. Right? Here's the update. Okay, I came up with an idea for a movie. I wrote the script. I was excited. Like anybody else is when you write a movie. The second movie I wrote, first one was called Comic Stripped, about a comedian who becomes a male stripper, based on some stuff I might have known about. Okay, but we didn't actually make that. So I'm like, all right, I'll make this other movie. So I wrote the script. I was all excited. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do an Indiegogo campaign. Hopefully someone will love wrestling, and I'll have an angel investor just give me $1 million, right? So I hit up everyone in the world I knew, and I raised $12,000, right? So people are hitting me up, where's my fucking movie, right? I gave you $20, where's my movie? Okay, you can't make a movie for $12 grand.
No, you can't. Not even in today's market.
So what I did was I
should say not even with today's technology.
I got it down to a pilot, all right? A 20-page pilot. And Joey Medina, who I know and love, he has equipment. He has editing equipment. He has cameras. I saw his pilot. It was really good. And we're going to shoot this pilot with that money, and then you can watch it. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. But even the pilot that I wrote would have been more than $12,000 to make it. So now I'm cutting out even more of it. So that's the update of it. I'm working on it. I'm making it. So that being said, with that, if I won that, I would make that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I would
Absolutely.
make that movie.
I'd probably make a movie or two, too.
Yeah,
but
that's-
they'd be porno.
Porn.
I'm making. Oh, listen, I make $1.6 billion. I'm making all my dreams come true.
Yeah, I would. That would be one of the first things.
You know those weird Japanese ones when it's like 14 girls, all getting examined by a doctor? That.
That's what you would do with your money.
Who says money can't buy happiness?
You're goddamn right. Only it'd be like 114 girls, and it would be longer than the Titanic
of Japan. Speaking of which,
it would be a mini series. It would take multiple nights to watch.
Did you see they're going to redo the Titanic and go the boat and the course of the boat in 2022?
Really?
It's going to set sail.
Is it with Jada Smith kid or something? Or
No, it's not a movie. I'm talking about the actual. They're remaking the actual boat and going the actual course of the original one.
Oh, you're saying they're building?
Yeah, it's going to be a cruise ship, and it's going to set sail in 2022.
I'm not working on that shit.
Who the fuck would go on that boat?
Not me. I'm not doing it.
So, so yeah, I would definitely. I'd make the wrestling movie, and then I'd buy a nicer house. But I think I would maybe I'd open up a comedy club.
Yeah,
maybe. But I think I would do almost everything that I'm doing right now. Just I wouldn't have to worry about rent.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and that is the thing. It's funny.
I wouldn't give much to anybody. Like I would take care of my family.
Like I was going to say, I'd give my mom $5 million
I'd take
for
care of
always
my
taking
Well, the
care
first
of
thing
me.
I would do is make sure nobody knew that I won.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Then do whatever you can to safeguard that money. Try and put it in the safest places you could possibly place it. Which we've seen, there is no real safe place.
Well, I actually read like an article at Holyfield who went broke, right? And he's like, well, no one teaches you how not to lose $40 million. I'm like, That'd be taught? Like what? Like
Actually,
what?
that you say that, it's funny. My mom and dad were in Vegas many, many years ago, and they walked by a blackjack table, and Holyfield was standing there playing 5 hands with $1 million total on the table. That's how you lose $1 million.
No shit, man. If you're
Yeah,
going through 5 million just playing,
My
blackjack,
dad was going to go say what's up, and then he lost all 5 hands. And they were like, all right, we're not going to bother. He was pissed. And I was like, oh, that's how.
He had to take a lot of shots to make that $5 million.
He had to lose his ear to make that $5 million.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, they say like a good percentage of people that win the lottery go broke.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, those things, money is a blessing and a curse. It brings so many. First of all, it destroys marriages. It does. No, over and over again. People get the money, and then they're like, you know what? I can live without you, so goodbye.
That just makes me think of your joke. It's a surprise going away party.
Yeah.
Like she comes home, yeah, we won the lotto. No, I won the lotto. There's your bags.
That wasn't my joke. Whose joke is that?
Yeah, you did.
No,
a surprise. Yeah,
surprise going away party. But then the lotto was someone else's joke.
No, but not the lotto. I'm just saying.
The second part was actually someone else's joke. I forgot whose joke that is. All right, so let's talk about some fights that are going on. Some fights this week. You watched this fight?
It's about time UFC came back. Jesus.
It's just so weird. I
was gonna say, were there any fight? Oh, Professional Fight League was this weekend.
That was it.
That was it. Now that's on DAZN. Is that what it is?
No. That's on NBC Sports.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I wish I'd known that because I have that channel. I would have recorded it.
Bare Knuckles.
I gotta
now
start
on DAZN.
Okay. So is it DAZN or DAZN?
I don't know if it's DAZN.
No, it's Bellator's on it. Bare Knuckles on that.
They signed Bare Knuckles. One of the Bare Knuckles, I think the new one with
okay.
Lehman and Baroni. They signed it to
There was Bare Knuckle last
DAZN
week. Kendall Grove lost, which sucks.
Oh my God, he got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like Vanderlei Rampage style. He was laying on the ropes, just done.
You got to be careful when you do this bare knuckle boxing. I mean, especially go up against real boxers who just do boxing.
That's why I worry about Sean Merriman. It's like, you're good at tackling people, but there's no takedown.
But he's been training for a while. Merriman.
And he's counting on power.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, that's it.
I don't know why he's doing
He's one of those guys that thinks if he could touch you, he'll take you. That's not true.
I heard from a good friend of mine who's just retired recently, a really good fighter, who said that they were offering him $250,000 to fight bare knuckle and a $250,000 if he wins. I mean, they're giving that. How are they making a return on that?
I'm like, well, where's that money coming from?
Well, clearly that's their investment strategy: is heavy payouts on the front end to get people involved, and hopefully it builds viewership, and then they make their money back.
Their pay-per-views are what? $20?
$30.
$30?
That's crazy.
I mean, listen, somewhere they mapped it out and put the math up on a PowerPoint, and somebody bought into it. So
I thought the same thing of PFL. I'm like, they're giving $1 million away in each division. WSOF didn't have $1 million for their budget for one.
But I mean,
show.
I guess when you're pitching it and you're saying, look at UFC started at this much, it's now valued at over $1 billion. I mean, that's what they're shooting for. They're like, look at even Bellator. They're like, it started at this, now it's worth $100 million. So they're like, listen, we get in on this, and your return on investment is potentially, 100-fold.
The PFL just got Kevin Hart. Mark.
That's what I saw. Yeah,
got Kevin Hart, Anthony.
Wait a minute, Kevin Hart's gonna fight?
No.
I was like, how bored is he?
No, he's pretty jacked though.
He is. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why to me it was a plausible idea, because I'm like, so he isn't just lifting weights. Like, he's been fight training. And
I think he is doing a celebrity boxing match. I'm not kidding, but. I used to play basketball with Kevin Hart, Patrice O'Neal, Rich Voss, Colin Quinn back in the day.
Back in New York.
They used to call me Open Mike. That was my name.
Yeah.
But Kevin Hart was legitimately amazing at basketball.
No, he was every year on the celebrity at the NBA All-Star Weekend. He was always like the MVP of the celebrity game.
Like if he was bigger,
except for like this year, some girl like schooled him, and he was like, "It's my last game, guys. Thanks. That's it. I'm done forever."
Was it Rachel Demita that schooled him?
I forgot who it was, but it was some up and coming girl that just came out and was just phenomenal. I believe that's what happened.
So if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. 2 o'clock in the morning on some like abandoned basketball court. All the comics would go from the cellar, and I wasn't in the cellar, but I'd hang out there, and then we go there, and there were all these. One time there were these like shady looking people there. And then Steve Marshall, who's a comic, goes, "What are we going to do if they want to fight us? Whip out our tape recorders." Right? And then Jim Norton goes, "Press play, they'll run." I was like,
got him.
That is so funny. That is a quick mind right there. So this week, Volkan is taking on Anthony Lionheart Smith. That's our boy, Anthony Smith. I think he's going to win.
I know he's gonna win.
I think he's gonna win. I think he's got better stand-up than Volkan.
That was a creepy, definitive. I know he's gonna win. Like you've done some shady shit to make sure already. I know he's gonna win.
I mean, I have been gone for a little while.
Recently, I made a small incision into Volkom's testicles. He doesn't realize it, but he's bleeding semen and blood at the same time. Very slow rate. It's a slow drip. But he'll be weak.
You're really not supposed to let this information out because I need to continue doing this.
By the way, I love your new haircut, bro.
Thank you.
It looks good.
Do you? I feel like he looks like a villain from like a cartoon.
But it fits him.
By the way,
he's a villain from a cartoon.
It's like he's got a faux hawk with the tops.
What's that?
It's a mohawk.
It's a mohawk with the tops tipped out, like they have.
Bleach tips.
Bleach tips. I wish I don't have the hair for that anymore, man.
I think actually you have enough hair for that.
I don't know, man. I think it recedes too much.
I'm trying to look like Glenn Plake.
Who's that?
He's an extreme skier that has I think it's like 2 or 3 foot long mohawk in all colors. His wife irons it to keep it straight.
How much free time do you have?
My dad and mom are like...
Dear Christ.
No, my mom and dad are like obsessed with Glenn Plake.
He's a third-tier professional pro-am skier from the Slovakia. No one's heard of him here.
American.
Nobody knows of him even there, but I follow him because I have that kind of fucking
Like the
time.
new Warren Miller.
The fuck, man? So I could get a job.
Well, I have even more time on my hands now, speaking of which.
Why? What happened?
What happened? Did you lose this? You lost the shop?
No.
What happened?
Shop's actually
What's
doing
your
well.
announcement?
I'm officially retired from graphing. I guess you wanted funny, so it's funny.
A lot of people think it's hard to retire from something that's technically not a career. But I did do it for almost no money for almost 6 years, and I'm retiring from it. I'm also retiring from from blogging. Never did that. I'm retiring from cafeteria services because I don't do that either.
I'm retiring from pickup basketball.
Also retiring from Olympic swimming.
I'm retiring from streetcar racing against myself.
Oh, yeah.
4 a.m.
I'm retiring from. I'm also no longer entering. I'm retiring from competitive hot dog eating.
What do you mean you're retiring?
I'm done.
Oh,
I'm not doing it anymore.
Okay. Was there a big retirement party or like are graphers everywhere? Like, did you hang up your pen?
Was it just the restraining orders were just piling up? You're like, I can't get within 500 feet of anyone. He's staring from the outside. He's at the casino across the street trying to get autographs. He's trying to catch them when they come out and go to Whataburger at 9 a.m.
Dude, there was a lot of touring with Piven. I understand. Like, we go to the hotel. And we're like, oh, that's a nice hotel. It's kind of empty. And people just run out of the fucking elevator, like behind the bar, the bathroom. Will you sign this? I'm like,
is that right? Yeah,
I've seen it in the Facebook groups.
And then they all sell them the next day on Facebook.
I've seen them all on the Facebook groups. I've seen Piven take a few pictures that he wasn't too happy about.
Yeah, because
one was at the airport when he was like dead ass tired.
Well, and this is what it comes back to. Like, people, they think that celebrities owe them this, and they're just people.
In the hotel, in
and
the
if
elevator.
you're tired and
It's
you're
worse
at the
when you
airport,
get off the plane
do you
at the
want
airport.
strangers running up to you and being like, hey, let me get,
No,
they're
we would
people.
drive like 4 hours and they take 3 flights to get to the hotel to check in, and people pretend that they're like at the vending machine, and then they come over. Hey, will you sign this? And I'm like, what the fuck?
This is the world of graphing.
And they sign things.
Everybody.
They sign up like business cards that they make up of his character, Ari Gold business cards. Like,
And have him sign them.
yeah.
Wow.
Wait, so you retired from graphing? Like, has there?
Yeah, sorry. We were in the middle of a major announcement.
Is there like people are lowering their flag? Is this a big thing in the graphing community?
Do people even
I don't
know
really
you
care
did
about
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so people knew you were doing it.
Yeah.
Are they going to notice you're missing?
I mean, the friends that I used to hang out with, yeah.
Yeah, you mean the ferns and the ATM
Wasn't it a
machine?
source of income for you though? Also,
No.
You never sold anything. You did anything?
No.
Nothing. Come on, nothing.
Oh, I always thought that's what you did. I thought, isn't that what? Wait a minute.
No. Okay.
No, wait a second. Okay, now you can't retire from something you didn't do for money. Okay?
I didn't want to disrespect. I didn't want to disrespect the fighters like that. And
I'm also retiring from miniature trains. I'm not going to do miniature. I'm retiring from miniature trains.
I'm done with Connect 4.
Also, I'm retiring from pottery.
I'm retiring from Legos.
Watercolors.
Playing
I'm also
Frogger.
I'm retiring from going to Toys R Us.
Wait, so okay.
Fuck, man.
Now, is your fiance? Did she make you retire?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think she likes it when he leaves the house.
All right.
She was actually pretty surprised.
All right. Now,
Why are you? Yeah. What's the?
It's
impetus?
just not fun anymore.
Yeah.
It's not fun anymore. The UFC is completely like, what was the last one? 227.
Yeah.
So the hotel was downtown on like a main street, and I had to stay on the curb, like away from the hotel, because UFC security won't let us in the hotel anymore. Bellator, I was supposed to go up.
Maybe it's because of people like you.
Or you and someone.
Actually, it's not. It's not.
No.
The UFC officials told us there was one grapher who found out Paige Van Zandt's room and actually tried to go up.
Yeah.
Knocked on the door.
But you were in someone's room the time when they were cutting weight, though, right? Were you helping them cut weight?
Brian Ortega's coach brought me in to his room to give him the image that I had printed for him.
Yeah.
The only one's room that I've ever been in that was actually cutting was Bubba, and he lost. So I take complete fucking.
Well, it's hard to teach someone how to have Crohn's. So.
Wow. All right. Okay. So you're retired. You now have more free time now, right?
I mean, I'm at the shop a lot.
But you spent a lot of money doing this. Like you would go out to Vegas, put yourself up.
I've spent tens of thousands of dollars over the last, but I've been doing this for 7 years.
Now, where are these autographs and all the stuff that you get?
They're on my wall. The only thing that I've done for autographs in the last year and a half, when I actually started doing autographs, was the images that like you.
But you were also getting hired by people to do this for them. I know, like Sean, like right? People hired you. We can't talk about that.
No comment.
Okay.
Well, listen. I actually have a major
they're all on my
announcement.
wall.
No,
You
wait,
see it on Instagram.
The wall's awesome.
I have a major announcement. I'm retiring from making omelets. I've been doing it for a long time.
I'm retiring from having.
I've spent thousands.
I'm no longer having gay sex. I never did it. But,
Didn't say that about my dad.
But you're retiring.
I'm retired. There was a
But
guy,
you were paid for it a couple times.
There was a guy last night at the show. This gay. I mean.
So that's a legitimate
It
retirement.
was a flaming gay black dude who was like, and then his hot lesbian. They were together, and they
Love
just
it.
came in to watch music, but they just wandered into the dime bar.
Right.
And I was like, so you're looking for some cock tonight? He's like, no, I'm looking for some ass. He's like, I'm a top. Like he got like, and then
Wow.
all right. He was, but then he got up to walk.
I'm not a cocksucker. I'm a buttfucker. Get it right, asshole. I'd like to announce I'm retiring from cocksucking. I'm exclusively butt fucking from now on.
Then when he was leaving, he had like the he had like the skinniest ass I've ever seen. Like it was like skinny jeans. I'm like, oh, now I see why you're. I mean, that would fucking hurt. Jesus. Whenever I see like a gay, I would see gay couples sometimes, like a black guy and an Asian guy.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, hopefully the Asian dude's on top because.
No, he's taking it. He's taking a
Really?
beating. Yeah.
You think so?
Getting turned into a windsock.
Oh, what? A windsock?
A windsock.
What the fuck is a windsock?
Thing on the football.
Listen,
field
I got a
that
major
sounds
announcement. I'm retiring from the windsock. I'm no
even
longer
know what
gonna.
that is.
I'm no longer
You know what
gonna
it
make
is?
windsock
No, I said we
references.
don't know what that is.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm retiring. Nobody buys them anymore. Nobody knows what it is.
So, Michael-
listen, and I want those of you who know what it is, who enjoyed that joke, to please tweet at him. Let him know that that's a good joke.
Thank you, Joe Jaggy. Yeah, you're on it. Michael John. By the way, Joe Jaggy sent me a lot of our fans sent me nice Froggy MMA, and Joe Jaggy sent me gifts from like my child, like how sweet, like just nice gifts for my child, like, and CB did also. So that I want to say
That's nice.
thank you. It's so nice.
CB got you a gift for your kid?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your makeup gift.
Sometimes I go to
I
shows.
got him a gift for his wedding too, motherfucker.
Did you?
just took a little while.
It was a couple. You didn't show up, and then, but listen, that's
So it's all even out now, is what I'm saying. It's all even out.
I'll tell
it's
you.
all even out. Now we can
a lot
all
of
go to the
times
wedding.
on the road, fans of the show give me baby gifts, and it's super sweet.
And most of them don't even
awesome.
know you have a baby. They're actually just for you.
I get more excited for the baby gifts than I ever got for a gift of my own. I'm
Yeah.
always like, I don't know, there's something really nice about that.
I was in
Like,
Scottsdale a few weeks ago, and I met up with Aaron from Love MMA Apparel,
Yes.
which is what I'm wearing right now.
I like that.
Went over to his house, hung out there, and he hooked me up with some free T-shirts too, just to promote the brand. And
we may not have the most fans, but we have the most loyal
we've got
fans.
awesome fans. Team Roasted. Let me just put this out there real quick, and it'll just take me a second. Please don't make jokes of this because it's something near and dear to my heart.
Should we make jokes first?
Are you retiring with this announcement?
Okay.
No. I just want to thank the Roasted Nation, everybody on Twitter. Unfortunately, I received bad news a couple weeks ago.
Oh, right, yes.
A family member has been diagnosed with cancer, and they have about 6 months or less to live. I didn't put it out on Twitter, but I did put out that I got bad news, and I just want to thank everyone, Team Roasted, the Roasted fans, everybody for the support and the appreciation, and just, you guys came out and really helped me out. You've helped me, get through the last week or so, and I greatly appreciate it, man, because I wouldn't have this support system. I wouldn't have, the followers and everything if it wasn't for MMA Roasted. So Adam, Greg, all the co-hosts, everything, I just want to thank everybody. Thank you so much.
No
It's
problem.
been a rough time, and I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank you.
We love you too, CV.
Yeah, man.
You're a good kid.
To think, through this
Man,
rough time, you managed to get your hair tips done.
No, it's been blonde for months, dude.
I'm just messing with you.
He's retired. He's even less.
He's
of his life.
retired. He's really.
And I even got to go. I got to take my girl to see Greg's show.
Yeah.
She was fucking She told me after the show, she goes, "The onion ring was the funniest thing he fucking did. The onion ring was the greatest
What did you
fucking
do?
thing."
I started eating somebody's onion ring.
He literally just grabbed an onion ring from this dude's, and to be honest, the four of them looked even a little more psychotic than I do on a normal basis.
Yeah. They're pretty crazy.
Yeah, she loved your fucking set. The only one she hasn't seen now is Mr. Hunter.
There you go.
So I got to bring her either to the Dime or one of the Laugh Factory shows. Yeah,
Love
but
it.
she.
By the way,
fucking
Greg, it's
was
funny because
dying.
so I've been putting up. So if you guys know this, I sold shows many times. I sold this show, Ambush Stand Up. I sold it to. This is like Hollywood, right? I sold it to Fuel TV. Fuel TV went under. I changed the show around. But we shot a pilot. Then I sold it to another network. That network went under. We did another pilot. And now I have all this footage. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to put it out on Instagram. Put it out there. And people are loving it. I'm getting
so fucking
such
funny, dude.
But I'm getting such good feedback from it. And now I have 10 more meetings now. And hopefully I'll sell it again. But there's one of you, Greg, where these people are having a picnic, and Greg runs up to them and goes, "Hey,
oh yeah, the ladies, yeah.
The secret is to suck some dick, right?" And just completely ruins their fucking picnic. One lady's dying laughing. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. And I wanted to put it up, but I was afraid with your new commercial.
Yeah.
That I was like, I don't want to put it up and then have someone go, "Hey, is this what?"
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
The fortune teller one with
but
him
should
was
I put it up?
good, too.
No. Yeah. But
The fortune
No,
teller
just because
one was
everything's so
great.
sensitive these days.
We'll wait till it stops airing.
Exactly. When it stops airing, you post it. But yeah, thank you for that consideration. And unfortunately, I hate that we have to view comedy in this light now.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where people will fire anybody to save their own ass. Anybody.
Not even to save their own, to get
they take.
to get clicks.
It used to be like if they got, they used to say with the network, if they got one letter, they would assume it was like thousands of people. Now it's one fucking tweet or one email, and they're like, "Oh my God, we got to fire," and so you lose jobs. And so I don't know, I mean, ultimately, I don't know that many people know who I am from the commercial, but you know what I mean? It only takes one, apparently.
One comic that you did better than, or you bumped, or something.
Or whatever,
guy.
yeah. I mean,
As a fake account. All right, so Michael
now,
Johnson.
wait a minute. So what is this? And maybe we cut this part out. I don't know. This whole Luis Gomez versus you thing, because, we're all friends. Like, who started this?
Nothing to do with Lewis. So somebody online that is a fan of both of our
just
shows
decided to
said,
say,
who
what
win?
about
Who would win,
right.
Lewis or me, right? And
Because
I'm
this
like,
thing's really taken off.
Well, so here's what happened. So Lewis tweeted out, Adam would fucking kill me. He would make my face into he would grind my face into horse meat or something, which is nice of him to say that, right? I have no problem with Luis Gomez. He's done my show plenty of times.
No.
It wasn't even about that. It was just who would win. And then I was like, fuck. Like, I don't even know. I mean, the guy's got 40 pounds on me. He walks around at 220.
Right.
I walk around at 175. So it's probably even... what's that?
45
pounds on me.
Yeah.
And he just had a fight. So he had already had a training camp. I'm sure I'd have the advantage of wrestling because everyone's like, people are going back and forth.
Totally. And I love the way that him being Puerto Rican somehow becomes a factor. You know, they're like, I don't know, I think that Puerto Rican anger would take over. I'm like, what other fight has anyone been like? Well, I don't know. You know, he's from Philly.
A lot of people were saying Adam's wrestling. Well, of course I have the wrestling advantage. And I think he does stand up, and I have to. But I'm not gonna go. I'm 40 years old. I got a baby. I'm fighting diapers right now. And I'm not gonna go step into a ring with anyone unless I get like financially.
What if they give you $1 million? What if Joe Rogan
it's on
raises $1 million to make you fight Luis
tomorrow,
Gomez?
tonight? what time is it?
We gotta do a full camp. We gotta get
fuck that. I'll do it right now.
$1 million.
I'm helping you with the camp. I'm gonna be
for
in the
$1 million,
corner.
1,000%.
Okay,
but like I know for Ellis Mania, he got $500. I heard.
Okay.
And that's what they'd wanted to do. I'm like, I'm not fighting anyone.
Who did he fight at Ellis Mania?
He fought some guy that has a podcast that he won. It was a pretty. He won the first and third. The guy won in the second. Yeah, I mean, I'm not fighting for $500. I'd have to because the amount of time it would take to have to go train. I'm not gonna go fight anyone unless I know
your gym bills are more than
think I'm going to win.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna.
Well, yeah, the size and weight differential, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had to cut to make 205. So he's 220. I'm 175. That's 45 pounds. That being said, I still think I have a good shot, but I'd have to really, train. I'd go and I would probably join Kenny Johnson's gym and go to Black House and train 3 times a day and I'm sure my fucking wife and kid aren't gonna be happy about that and everything.
Except for the $1 million part.
Yeah, $1 million. $500,000.
I was gonna say, and there'd have to be like some kind of like, but if you lose, you get at least $250,000.
Oh yeah, it's not a winner take all type.
Yeah,
thing.
you can't do that.
Yeah. But for like some good money, I'd fucking
66-33.
For $1 million, I'd fight GSP. I'd fight Brock Lesnar for $1 million. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Well, that wouldn't take long.
Fuck it, $1 million.
Swat you one time.
Okay, fine. You know what?
Thank you. Can I have that check now, please?
I would do my best that I could.
For me, it'd be like standing in the red corner with the piss stain under him and the snot bubble running down his nose. The challenger.
There isn't anybody on this planet I wouldn't fight for $1 million.
Right.
But if I fight Luis Gomez, fight anybody for $500, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, no, $500. That's what do you? I mean, he clearly just wanted to fight.
No, he didn't want to. No. What happened was he wants to fight a comic. His whole thing is like, from what I understand, is he's like, I want who in LA wants to fight me. So he called out like Tripoli, he called out Ari Shaffir, he called out a bunch of guys, and all of them are like, no.
None of them Rogan.
None of them. Yeah, he didn't call out Rogan, and he didn't call on me either. Somebody else made this, and he seemed to think that I would win. He said Adam would fucking make my face into, which was nice of him to say, which is actually pretty big of him to say. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool because I was gonna say, I'm like, there's no beef between these guys.
No, I didn't even respond.
But I thought it was funny the way people really got into it as a concept.
Well, a lot of people like Adam would win because of wrestling. I mean, obviously he knows that's what I would go to as a wrestler.
Sure,
100%. Like, but I'd have to like fight really smart. You fight a guy who has 45 pounds on you. I'm not gonna go punch for punch with this guy.
Fuck no.
I'd have to really up my game jiu-jitsu wise. I'd have to get my submission game fucking thing. I'd have to maybe try to take out his knees, get my Muay Thai down. I'd have to really take it seriously. I'm not going to just step into the fucking thing unless it's $1 million. And then tonight.
Do it right now.
What's it, 3:45? I'll be there too.
$1 million.
Podcast is over. All right,
that's the ending of the dime tonight.
Fuck that.
For $1 million.
So, but yeah, Michael Johnson versus Lobov. Johnson's just going to crush him. It's not going to be close.
Yep. I did not like the substitution of that fight. I like the original fight, but
so Artem Lobov is the guy that started the whole McGregor beef. He's the one that Khabib's friend slapped him, and then McGregor flew out, and then threw the dolly, and then cut to the Khabib fight. So he started all of this, and now his opponent got yanked because he's the one that was in that fight with McGregor.
Right, that's right.
So now they put in Michael Johnson, who is
a far superior fighter.
Yes, but he does make stupid mistakes. He's a guy that can get caught.
And it is at 45, so Mike's still dropping that extra 10.
Patrick Cummings, Misha Serkinov. I got Misha.
I don't
know what happened to Cummings. Cummings was a fucking monster, and then just something.
He did change camps though. He's in Alliance now in San Diego. So,
oh really?
Yeah, he moved. He's been training with AJ Matthews and a lot of the guys down there, but AJ was the one that brought him over. So Cummins, I think the training is a lot better, but Sirkinov, that dude, I mean, I remember when he had a rear naked or a neck crank on Alex Nicholson, and he snapped his jaw, like completely just snapped it out of alignment, and that's what stopped the fight. Just from a neck crank. Sirkinov's a tough fucking dude.
Yeah. Andre Suckumtath is taking
Suck it, Math?
Yeah, well, I called him Suck at Math, and then he told me I was racist. And
That's not racist, though.
I'm not even calling him that
It's
again.
a play on words.
I know. So, Gian Vellante, Ed Herman. That's a fight I want to see.
Vellante.
I hope Vellante, but he's another guy that, like, would rather lose an exciting fight than win a boring fight.
Yeah, but Ed hasn't been the same in a while, and Ed used to fight at 185. He's coming up to 205. Vellante just throws heavy hands. I could definitely see him getting the knockout of the TKO in the first.
And he's dating a very cute girl. I'm not going to say, but she's a very cute woman that we all know who's been on our podcast.
By the way, I would like to announce that I'm retiring from fighting. Before anybody starts trying to figure out who I should fight in the MMA podcasting world, I'm retiring.
I heard Flo got the best of you.
That's right. So I'm retiring from all of the. I'm officially retired.
All right, that's good.
And listen, I retire undefeated.
Well, someone who should retire is Bob Sapp, and he's going to call in right now. Bob, how's it going?
Hey, how are you guys? Great to be back here on MMA Roast.
Thank you for having it. Now, listen, congrats on winning your last fight.
That was incredible. Absolutely a total mistake. I actually lost money.
Wait, so you bet against yourself?
I didn't. Well, you know, I mean, when you're paid to, Uganda.
Right.
That money flows. That money flows.
Now, Bob, now, you almost tapped out quickly. You got hit early,
Right.
and it looked like you kind of were like thinking about...
No. People missed. I did tap. I tried to tap. They wouldn't let me out. Apparently, when you're winning, they don't let you tap. I thought all I had to do was tap on my water bottle.
So you were winning, and you tried to tap, but they wouldn't let you stop the fight?
They wouldn't let me stop it. That's what happened.
All right.
They said I had somebody in the trunk of my car in the convention center parking lot.
Got it.
No comment.
Some kidnapping.
Now,
So ridiculous.
you seem to always laugh at the wrong time with these stories.
I don't know. It's just the world's a funny place.
I've been hit a lot.
Now, are you going to fight again?
I plan to, yeah. If those checks keep coming, I say why not. Hey, listen, so long as my hand can make this tapping motion, I'll tell you, I continue to fight. That's right, Bob Sapp.
Did you fight Luis Gomez?
Of course. Oh, but Luis Gomez, he'd kill me. I'd tap out immediately. Luis Gomez, let's set it up. I'll take that check for sure.
What about Ween Dog?
Oh, Ween Dog. Oh, he's a monster in the ring. People, so powerful. I weigh about 138 pounds, but I fear him. So, again, if my hand can go this mode, if I can just make that tapping sound, if I can wave you hello, I'll take your check.
Now, Sarah Moras is fighting Talita Bernardo. Who do you like in this fight? Bob Sapp?
Definitely Bernardo.
Why is that?
The last name sounds good.
All right.
The other one I have in my trunk.
Moras?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Sarah Cheesecake.
Sarah Cheesecake. She wins fights. I would have bet Ashley Evans Smith 99 out of 100 times would have won that fight. I couldn't believe that she beat Ashley Evans Smith. I was shocked. Fucking shocked. But Moras, she's always in fights. I mean, she's tough. She's a tough girl.
She had a long break, too, I thought. She had a while where she wasn't fighting.
Yeah. So
That could be good and bad, right?
I like the Nordine Taleb and Sean Strickland fight.
Why is that?
I think it's a good fight. I think they're both really good stand-up guys. Sean Strickland, I forgot, is he at Millennia now or he went somewhere else? But Nordine's just a tough dude, can face pretty much anybody. I like the fight. I think it's gonna be a war.
Yeah, it probably will be. It probably will be.
The rest of these names on this card, most of them, I'm like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a good card. I mean,
yeah.
Those are usually the cards that are the best.
Wow,
ones.
if you don't know who they are, Jesus.
Well, one guy's name is Chris Fishgold.
Chris Fish. I don't know who that is.
I no clue.
Was he on the Contender?
Which
or something?
synagogue is he from?
Not entirely sure. Maybe VBS.
So Brock Lesnar is could make a non-fighting appearance at UFC 230. Is that what we're promoting now? People just showing up?
I was going to say, what is...
That's what Dana White said.
Well, they did the same thing for 228. Wait,
What do you mean he could make a non-fighting appearance? That's so weird.
And I love that they're announcing that he could make a non... Like, wait a minute. So he's not even locked in to just walk in the room? Like, you can't even nail that down with this guy? Come on, man. What is happening? What kind of announcement is that? Slow news
Actually, to be honest...
Go Dodgers.
I don't know if he'll be there because unless he takes an overnight private jet, because November 2nd he's wrestling in Saudi Arabia.
Really?
Yeah, the WWE is doing a huge event in Saudi Arabia, but since this whole thing, this debacle
Saudi Arabia,
happened,
I've been there. You been there? Mm-mm. That's the one. I've never been scared to be in a place except for Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, I was there with I did a show for the military and stuff, and then they took us out to like the downtown, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be here. And on top of like just hating watching people in burqas, I'm sorry, it's 130 degrees out. You see people in burqas, and I know they'll say, well, they like it, they choose to be in burqas. Give them the choice. I don't think people should be forced to be in burqas. It just seems like it's really hot in there, and I wouldn't want to be in a burqa if I was a woman, and it just seems kind of just. I don't know. I know maybe this is westernized form of thinking, but give them a choice. If you want to be in a burqa, be in a burqa. But didn't they have the choice to be out of burqas? But also, they have the religious police walking around, making sure that you obey the Quran. So you have to really be careful. Like if you curse.
Well, that's the thing. People forget that it is a religious state.
And then we were driving to a place, and our tour guide was like, "Oh, that's Chop Chop Square." What's that? They go, oh, well, on every Monday night or something, they take people who got caught stealing or caught whatever, and they chop off their arms in front of people. Like this is like their entertainment. Like there's vendors going, I lost my shirt with one arm selling T-shirts. I mean, it's just it's insane that they have that. And then, but then it's funny that the military guys were telling us that there's all these Filipino nurses, a lot of hot Filipino nurses, and they're there in Saudi Arabia, and they're always on like the base, the American base, and the guy's like, yeah, they come here for ABC. I'm like, what's that? He's like, alcohol, bacon, and cock. Because they can't get it anywhere else.
Right.
They can't get alcohol. They can't get bacon. And cock. Yeah.
I mean, it's a monarchy.
Yeah.
It's run by a king.
Yes.
That we give a fuck ton of money to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an Islamic state. I mean, that's.
But I've been in Islamic states before.
Yeah.
And have not been like I've been in Bahrain before, and I've been in Oman, and I've been in I think is Abu Dhabi considered a.
I think it is, yeah.
And I've also been in the other place, Dubai.
Yeah.
And I've never felt that kind of tension before, where I'm like, shit, this is just...
Isn't Dubai one of those places that, like, everywhere else around it, you can't have alcohol and you can't have anything, but then, like, in Dubai and some places you still can?
Oh, you could totally have alcohol. I mean, people in England, they start partying at noon on Friday. That's the start of the weekend.
Yeah.
So people are wasted by 1 o'clock.
I love it.
And Bahrain is where all these people come from other places because supposedly, I guess, Allah or someone, this is what I was told, aren't watching them. So they could party their asses off in Bahrain.
Oh,
you walk into Bahrain in like a nightclub.
So that's like the Vegas. They've like put all the garbage there.
Yeah, and you go into Bahrain and it's like, I guess because it's like...
And I don't mean the people, I mean like just, that's where you can go and party your dick off and do all the crazy sinful things that you don't want to do back at home.
And hookers, yeah. They grab your cock and go, hot dog. And I'm like, that's the only...
I'm sorry, what's the address? Listen, guys, I'm retiring from the United States. I'm moving to Bahrain.
I got kicked out of a brothel in Bahrain. I went there with a couple. I go there.
How do you get kicked out?
I'll tell you the story. So I like.
Were you graphing?
I went to the. I went with a couple of the escorts back to the brothel because like, oh, go back. I didn't want to buy sex. I just wanted to like see things. I was like, early 20s. I wasn't gonna have sex with, who knows what.
Yeah.
So I go and there's a bunch of soldiers living there. Like soldiers that are like on their last year or just their girlfriends are the escorts in the brothel. Like they were just dudes walking around. And it was back when MySpace first came out. And I was trying to tell the girl, it was like, I think she was like a Filipino or Korean, like the prostitutes. I was trying to tell her that I was a comedian, but she didn't really understand it. So I was showing her my MySpace videos. And then I was trying to look up, like they had a dictionary, like English to Tagala, whatever they speak. And then the house mom came in and she's like, if you know by sex, leave. And she kicked me out. So that was it. Yeah.
Well, should have just bought some sex. Right? Looking back on it now,
No,
right?
absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. But
but-
I was showing her my Craig Kilborn set. I was so proud to show her my Craig Kilborn set. Yeah, that's
Nice.
Yes. All right. So, that being said, what do you got coming up, CB? Anything fun?
This Saturday is the concert I got tickets for my birthday to. How the West Was Won in San Bernardino.
Oh, fun.
yes.
Yeah.
The Game,
Snoop Dogg,
Ice
right?
Cube, E40, the
Yeah.
Dog Pound, DJ Quick, Too Short, a bunch of acts. My girl got me a private VIP box, so we're going to
Whoa,
that.
how many extra people you get to bring for that?
I honestly, I only have 2 tickets, but I'm just hoping there's no like random people that get, like when you go to the Staples Center, if you have a box, there's like a bunch of people that you don't know that are
Now,
in
do you
there.
have to buy their flak jackets, or can you bring your own?
Did I ever tell you when I opened up for Too Short?
No.
Dude, I get booked in. Did I tell you the story?
No.
So I get booked in. Where was I? Planet Gemini, Monterey. Right. I just moved out to LA. I was like excited to like feature. I was like, yes, you're from New York. You don't really feature. I wasn't. I was
Yeah.
just doing 20-minute sets for 8 years. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know what headlining was. I thought I had 45 minutes. I didn't have it. So I'm driving to Planet Gemini, and they're like, tonight, Planet Gemini on the radio. Tonight, Too Short. I'm like, fuck, I'm at Planet Gemini. Like, so I call up the place. I'm like, hey, is Too Short? They're like, yeah, we're at the comedy show. Oh, the comedy show will be before Too Short goes on. This sounds great, right? So I get
This is gonna
there.
end well.
I get there, and it's me and then D Militant, right? Funny, very funny black comedian, very angry at the time. So I get there, and no one's there for comedy. I mean, there's
Of course not.
No one even knows about comedy. It's all people.
That's the worst, when people don't realize there's going to be comedy and are specifically not there for comedy.
So I get there, and it's all like Oakland. It looked like this Oakland, very black,
Yeah.
just like Too Short fans, right? Like
Sure.
So I start doing my set, and everyone's looking at me like, "What? This is the worst rapper ever! Like, what is going on?" So I start cursing.
He's not even rhyming.
So I start cursing after. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, like after each joke. And then they were kind of laughing, sort of, right? And then D Militant goes on. He does well. It's like 30 minutes about how white people suck, right? And then Too Short's supposed to go on, right? And it was right when he came out with the Blow the Whistle song. So he was sort of had a big... So he was in the limo, they told me, getting a blowjob, right?
Good for him.
So he didn't come out for like an hour and a half, right? It was like, the place closed at like 1:30.
That's a long
I was going to say, fucking get it out of me and let's go.
Yeah, how much time does he have on his
Jeez.
hands?
So the thing, so he goes on at like 1 in the morning. The thing's supposed to end at 2, right? So he goes on, and the crowd's pissed at this point because they've been waiting through a fucking comedy show and this. And he's like, man, he does like 3 songs. And he says, you know what? This is all about getting paid. And they ain't paying me fucking shit for this fucking show. Fuck this. I'm not doing any more songs unless I get $5,000, right? And tries to like hold up the crowd. So people are like passing around a bucket, and I'm watching this. I'm seeing like $5 get pulled in. I'm like, I think there was like $37 at most coming. People, business cards were being put in there. I mean, they weren't fuck. So then he's like, man, fuck this. He goes, I want 2 sperm swallowers to blow me right now, right? So this fucking like huge white girl was like, I'll blow you, and jumps on stage, and he looks at her and he says, I said sperm swallowers, not sperm whales, right?
Oh.
And that was everyone went, oh,
Yeah.
right? So now like fucking everyone's mad, and she gets kicked off stage. He does like one more song, and then they had to put the lights on. The show was over, right? So now everyone's pissed. People just paid like good money. So like 6 brawls break out. Like just... And I'm like behind the bar, like with my eyes up, watching all this.
You're like Wilson from fucking Home Improvement.
Yeah, like bottles are being
Good
thrown.
reference.
And then like the owner has like her son is like fucking blood everywhere. It was just a fucking disaster, right? Cops get called, fire department. I show up the next day, right? And I'm like, what's gonna happen? And the owner goes to me, hey man, let me talk to you. You were too dirty last night. Like,
What?
Yeah, like I was too dirty. Like not the fucking.
Not the 2-hour intermission
No,
between your.
not the Rodney
No,
King riots.
not the give me suck my dick on stage part. That was fine.
Yeah,
That's too short.
I was too dirty.
Racist.
Well, and that is the difference between being a name act and not being a name act. Name act, you get blowjobs, like, I want a sperm, swallow it. But you're too dirty. Yeah, I don't know. I got to save $500 somewhere.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was insane.
You were too dirty for a too short crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. But
People, man.
yeah,
People.
But I mean, it was fun. I was like, I had a good time there. But I was like, Jesus Christ. Listen, people. Okay, Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission free. They strive to make financial services work for everyone, not just the wealthy, okay? It's an intimidating way for stock market newcomers to invest for the first time with true confidence, okay? It's a simple and intuitive. They have a clear design with data presented in an easy to digest way, all right? I want you guys to make money. When you make money, you're happier, okay? You're more successful, and everyone's just, you got a big smile on your face, all right? Listen, Robinhood's great. Their app has no commission fees, and the other brokerages, they charge up to $10 for every trade. Not Robinhood. Doesn't charge commission fees. Okay, and it's an easy design, it's easy to use, easy to understand charts and market data. You just place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. Just 4 taps, okay? Listen, you learn by doing. You can learn how to invest as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, and track favorite companies with personalized news feed. Okay, and guess what? Robinhood is giving listeners a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Just sign up at MMAroasted.robinhood.com. That's MMAroasted.robinhood.com. Also, 66% of men lose their hair by the age of 35. I know I have. I started losing it at like 21. And the thing is, once you start to notice your hair loss, it's too late. It's easier to keep your hair you have than to replace the hair you've lost. Okay, we've all seen people with bad wigs or bad, stuff on the top of their head, and you're like, dude, no good, no bueno. Well, how would you feel a year from now if it's business as usual up there? You'd be pretty happy. And do you want a bald spot to pop up, or you want to do something about it first? Okay? Why do guys turn to weird solutions or do nothing when they can turn to medicine and science? Go to forhims.com. It's a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. I want you guys to have more hair, all right? I want to have more hair. Listen, Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. They give you well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. No snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. No waiting room, okay? It's easy. It's easy. Answer a few questions, and a doctor will review and prescribe all kinds of stuff for you. All right. Guess what? My listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today. Right now, while supplies last. See the website for full details. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to forhims.com/roasted. That's forhims.com/roasted. That's forhims.com/roasted. That was one of the craziest times I had. For some reason, comedy and music just, unless you're Dave Chappelle, it's like Lauryn Hill or Dave Chappelle and John Mayer.
Like the Block Party.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to really, like, I remember White Star. Remember White Star? They were like a big band for a second. They saw me at some like club and they were like, "Oh man, you're hilarious. We'd love to open for you. We want you to open for us at the Viper Room." I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be fucking great." This girls, it was Cisco Adler and like Swayze, all of this like back in like this is like 7 years ago. It was all these hot Orange County girls. It's gonna be fucking great. I get there. People think I'm the fucking sound guy. I go up after like 3 rappers and a musician, and I'm like, "Hey," so people thought I was like testing the microphones. It could not have went worse. Yeah, man. Yeah, opening up for bands is fucking hard, man. Sometimes it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever opened up for a band?
Yeah, a couple of times. But it's always gone pretty well for me. I don't know why. I mean, I guess, I'm kind of loud and aggressive and stuff like that. And so it kind of fits in. Like one of the biggest shows I've ever done was opening for Candlebox.
Oh, really?
In Seattle at the Tacoma Dome.
They were really good, Candlebox.
Yeah, they were really good. They put on a hell of a show. I was surprised. I knew Candlebox, but, and they had a couple big hits,
They were just like, they just came like, they were like right after the hair band, before the grunge. It was like,
yeah, kind of right in the middle, yeah. But they did great, man. They crushed it, and it was a big show. I don't know, it was at least 10,000 people.
Wow.
So, but I had a great set.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It just I remember Nirvana used to they loved Gilbert Gottfried. So they used to have him open for Nirvana.
Really?
And he would get booed off stage like every night, but they thought it was the funniest thing ever, so they just kept having him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like that was. And then
One time I went to see Blink 182, and I'm looking at the lineup, and right before them is Fallon. And I'm like, who the fuck is this band Fallon? No, it was Jimmy Fallon.
How'd he do?
Terrible. And here's the other thing. I mean, well, because he was an impressionist, but he was never a stand-up. Yeah. So he didn't have any material.
Yeah.
So what he did was he had like this little, one of those little troll dolls, right?
Yeah.
And so he was going to do impressions of like 8 different songs, all singing about the troll. Okay.
Oh no.
So, yeah. So he does that. He runs through all his impressions, and they're okay. They're okay, but it's not stand-up per se. All right. So he does his set. Okay, so then Blink 182 comes out, and they're doing their set, and they're rocking, and I'm like, the guitar isn't on. Like, it is not a part of the show. Yeah. Like, you can hear the bass, you can hear the drums, no fucking, and there's only 3 instruments.
Yeah.
So with 1/3 missing, like, everything sounds fucked up. And I'm like, do they not realize that it's not on? I'm like, dude. So finally, someone comes out from the side after like 2 or 3 songs, like, hey man, we gotta fucking fix this. So they're out there. And, those guys are goofballs,
and
right?
They put Fallon back on.
Right, okay, right. Because they're goofballs. And the main guy who's there, I don't remember, funny guy, and he's out there kind of riffing with everybody and doing funny stuff. And he was going for a good 10, 15 minutes, and they still hadn't fixed the fucking sound on this guitar. So he finally goes, what are we doing? We got one of the funniest guys in the world backstage. Let's bring him out. So they bring Jimmy Fallon back out, but he'd already done all possible material that he had. So now he was, talk about the struggle. He was just sinking like a stone. What about you guys? What about it was so bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was enjoying it.
As a comic, I love that.
Exactly. Out of pure jealousy, I was just enjoying it. But I mean, it just stunk because
Fallon was pretty cool to me. Like I opened for him a couple times right before he got Jimmy Fallon's show.
Yeah.
And it was back when I was on Last Comic Standing, and he would middle of the show tell everyone to vote for me on TV.
Yeah.
And he was really nice. But
Yeah.
he told me, he's like, dude, I have 15 minutes. He's like, you're a comedian. I'm not a comedian.
Oh, sure, exactly. Like he had some impressions and got on Saturday Night Live and blew up. So I mean, great for him, but yeah, he wasn't prepared for that moment at all. And so it was wicked. It was a wicked death.
Do you remember when he put out that music album and like the big hit was Idiot Boyfriend and he had a music video for it?
Nah.
Jessica I.
What's up?
What's going on? You're on the MMA Roasted podcast.
Oh, yeah? Is that what this is?
Yeah, that's what this is. How are you doing?
Sometimes.
I'm not too bad. Just finished up with a long training day, but
Nice.
glad to be done with the day.
Good. So we got to talk. I've been following you on Facebook and Twitter, and you're hilarious. But are you okay? Like, what's going on?
What do you mean? What makes me seem like I'm okay? Like I'm not okay?
Sometimes you're like, people don't know how to take a joke. Everyone's getting offended. Everyone's a bunch of pussies, which I agree with, all that shit. But I'm just like, but I never know exactly what happened to lead up to that,
So, I mean, I always love leaving cliffhangers, in that sense. So sometimes I just see other people's drama and I comment on it, and it usually stirs up conversation. But all in all, to answer your question, I am having the best time of my life, and I'm good, and I'm happy, and yeah, I mean, there's no issues with me other than the nonsense that we've all seen with the flyweight division. I mean, that's kind of disgusting and how that's been handled, but life is okay.
Good. By the way, congrats on your last fight. You looked amazing over Jessie Jess. That was awesome. You kicked some butt. Jess is a very tough opponent. Beat a lot of good girls. Were you happy with how you fought in that fight?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was, I feel like my last 2 fights, Kalindra and Jessica, were actually the toughest flyweight that I'm going to have to see. And nothing against Blonde Fighter or any of the other girls, but I feel like those 2 girls are somebody, more or less Jessie Jess, that I'll see again in the future. I think that she wasn't ready to adjust to all of my my different abilities of like, using my wrestling, using my kicks, using my strikes, using my cage ability, and which is something I struggled at bantamweight to do because I was outsized. And, now at this point, I feel like I kind of got a chip on my shoulder, and I feel like I'm using everything. And that's what everyone saw in the Singapore fight, is my ability to – I'm sick of people saying, like, oh, Jessica didn't do this, Jessica doesn't do that. Like, I felt like it was kind of I wanted to show people I could go to Singapore with basically none of the people that support me love me, as well as, my team, my original, like with my head part of my team being there.
Yeah, no, I was super happy. Now, but you've been fighting with like Sahara Eubanks, right? So I didn't get that either. Sahara Eubanks all of a sudden became the #1 contender. They were going to put her as the main event. Then now she's not. She's fighting Roxy. But what's up with you and Sahara?
Okay, let's let's spill the juice. Let's give you the TMZ gossip of it all.
All right.
Long story to kind of update. I met with Ali. Right, I met with Ali because I've been managerless and I've been looking to meet with a manager. And after my last fight, it's like all bets are off. Jessica's back at flyweight. I'm not losing. I'm winning a world title, and kind of like, hey, my career's about to take off. Kind of where it left off when I left Bellator to come to the UFC and left flyweight. So I was like, you know what? It's time to reach out to a manager, have someone, help me out. So I did some digging. I seen that Ali was managing, Sarge, and me and Ali had talked about it, and we decided to go different ways. But leading up to that, I was like, hey, like that will probably be a fight that I'll take, like that they'll end up offering us. He's like, no, I don't think they will. Met with Mick after my last fight, got a new 8-fight contract, which I haven't announced, but I did get a new 8-fight deal. I'm very happy with the pay that the UFC gave me. And they said to me, you can have whoever you want. I said, well, I would like a title fight. And then that's when they came back with, no, it's going to be Sarge. And I was like, well, I was trying to talk to Ali about managing me, but he manages her, and I don't want to fight somebody that's being managed by the same company. So we, again, decided not to. Well, a couple of weeks later, they called me, and they're like, hey, if you want to fight this year, it's got to be Sarge. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. I don't care. Fine. Let's do it. Contract came over. I signed the contract, and there was already some banter, obviously. Me calling her a cum dumpster didn't set well with her. But also her calling me her baby and all that stuff didn't sit with me very well either.
Right.
So they sent over the contract. It was signed, and that was it as far as I was concerned. And you kind of know with the UFC, like if you sign a contract and it's not posted out in like a week, that there's something else going on behind scenes that we don't know about. Well, I caught some wind that Sajara was talking up in New York to my New York friends, and they said, hey, we're hearing that Sarge is coming off your fight. They're actually going to give her a title shot. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse my I was like, no, that's not fair. That wasn't the agreement. Me, the UFC, meaning all of the powers above that help make these fights. I was like, you guys said that I could have her, and then, winner goes on to, eventually get a title shot. So we started beefing back and forth. They basically just ripped up that contract, and, Dana, I messaged Dana and Mick both, and I was like, that's unfair. It's happened before with the Page thing, and now, this, come on, guys. I know I lost 4 losses at bantamweight, but this is flyweight, and I haven't lost a flyweight. I've only lost 1 flyweight out of 20-plus fights. Give me a little bit of credit. So, so then they pull her off that, put her on the Madison Square Garden card, and then I'm like, well, where does that leave me? And they were like, we'll get you somebody. And I was like, well, anybody, outside the top 5 doesn't make sense to me, or benefit for my best of my career. And if I'm not having a manager represent me, I should be able to say these things freely to you guys without being reprimanded or not given a fight. So then it came back a week later and said, how about Caitlin in Vegas on the 29th, which was originally when I was supposed to fight Sarge. And then we signed that fight. We signed that fight for the 29th, and then they came back 2 weeks later and said, hey, can we move it up to to Toronto, so we have a backup fight. So there it is in a nutshell.
Okay, got it. Because I saw you beefing with Sahara Eubanks. It was still kind of weird how they were giving her now they're kind of dicking her over because they told her she's going to get the main event, and now she's not. And she's getting Roxanne out of her.
Well, that's what she gets for not honoring her contract. That's what she gets. That's called, in business, that's like if you don't take the first egg and you think you got another one and you break it, well, you don't get the other one back. You lost that. So, again, I think that she's, that's her and her management's decision on how they do things. If I were her, I would have taken one more fight against me. Taking a fight against me is not good for anybody in the flyweight division, but at least taking a fight and seeing if she could, make flyweight again. I mean, she hasn't made flyweight yet.
Right.
Since the show. And that was something I showed concern on with the UFC too, even previously to sign the fight.
So now, what was it against Ali that you didn't? How come you didn't want to sign with Ali?
I just, listen. Like, would you want to share your wife?
Would I want to share my wife?
Do you want to share?
No,
yeah,
absolutely
not.
not.
You want to share your wife? All right.
No.
Well, I don't want to share my manager. That's a relationship that is supposed to be sacred and it's supposed to be trustworthy. How can I expect someone to have my best interest at heart when they're managing another girl within the same division? I mean, they can't. There's no humanly possible way you can do that with two people. You just eventually get caught up, or someone gets mad, or someone gets jealous.
That makes total sense. Now, what happened with you and Sarah Kaufman?
Oh, Sarah's just still butthurt from me beating her years ago and then testing positive for weed. Like, she's still butthurt. She just, I think she, went to Twitter to see if, someone, people actually, test her name out. And then she just, then asked me to meet her to catch weight after I've already, publicly said multiple times how good it feels to be back at the weight that I'm at and back where I feel like I'm supposed to be. She goes, let's have a catch weight fight. That's ignorant and that's stupid of her. And she throws her own title on Invicta. Quit barking up, short trees, because she's not going to go anywhere.
And she's not even in the UFC, is she? That's weird also, right? She's not even in the UFC, is she?
I had another girl say that to me, and it's almost to the point that we're this whole Connor thing where people think that they can go to Twitter and they're they got 5,000 followers or 1,000 followers. I'm going to go call out someone. Hopefully one of these fighters are having a bad day, so they actually retort back to me or reply back to me with something, and it causes some kind of media, and all of a sudden now I'm media famous and I'm getting high level fights. Unfortunately, I had to tell another female fighter who called me out, I don't even know if she's even a pro, and I was like, you know what, earn your dues, get back, and we'll see if you're here when I'm here. Then you can fight me. Until then, you don't be mad that I successfully made myself here and you just want to go to social media.
Now, what I like about you, Jessica, is that you don't apologize for who you are. We've hung out before. We had a great time when we hung out in Cleveland. You were super sweet. You took me on your boat. I think I got AIDS from that river, but it was super nice. We went up to some kind of river, and I'm like, oh, this is so great. And people were like, you didn't actually go in that river, did you? I'm like, yeah, I jumped in the water. And they're like, oh, dude, that's you're going to get cancer. I'm like, great. And then we were throwing a football back and forth. Dude, she was throwing perfect spirals. I threw
nice.
Not even a girl. I was like a 2-year-old throwing a football. It was, and then at the time I felt fat, so I was keeping my shirt on. I was like the fat kid in the pool. And she's got a fucking 12-pack. It was, I never felt more emasculated. She didn't, it wasn't her fault. It was all me. But what I like about you, Jess, is that you seem like you're coming into your own, and you're not when I first met you, you were kind of shy. I remember you came on the podcast. You said that you weren't going to sleep with anyone from Cleveland because you didn't want anyone telling anyone they could sleep with you. But now it seems like you're just fuck it. I am who I am, and I'm looking at a picture of you right now in Singapore. You're butt naked, and there's hearts over your boobs.
You know what? I think I'm more confident. And I came into UFC. I've been very sheltered by a lot of the men in my life, and I came to the UFC. My dad passed away, and some things kind of got put to rest. I was able to feel like I get to come into my own as a woman, and I feel comfortable now being who I am, socially, as well as internationally. And I feel like that's hard, and I feel like some people don't get a chance to kind of go through the growing pains. Unfortunately, I went through the worst growing pains. I lost 4 fights in a row. Kind of made me question who I was and what maybe I was projecting myself as. That, you know, this attitude that I feel I have has been the attitude I've always had. It's just how I was able to project it out.
But like, now who took
I'm
that?
actually a really nice person. I'm obviously like I feel like I was really scared to be who I was publicly because I was afraid I was going to get judged, and now I just don't give a shit.
Now, who took that picture of you standing with the heart over your boobs and the tattoo? Who took that?
It's not so. It's kind of cool how that picture is because like people are like, who took it? I want to know, and they have the real image. I'm behind a wall that is that like has that like kind of look to it. So nobody saw it. No one got to see me naked. No men. Only my friends only my girls that helped me. So
got it.
Until I wipe some man up eventually one day, then he'll get to be the one to talk about how good I look naked.
No, and I heard that I heard a story about you that there was a girl like hooking up with your man, so then you like went like 5 states over and like beat her up in the shower. But so now who is there? Hello.
I'm here.
All right, I can take that part out if you want. All right, so no. So is there anyone that you're dating right now, or you have a boyfriend? What's going on?
You know, I'm not exclusive with anybody right now. There was someone that I was talking to, and you know, unfortunately, I'm not even interested in a relationship right now. I really am like, I'll feel the need as it's needed. But I just want this world title. Like all I can think about is there's a thing that they always say with women too. Good D is a distraction, and right now, a good D that's in my life is a distraction. So right now, I don't want any distractions until I accomplish this one thing in my life I've been spending all of my adult life doing. You know, and that's fighting and getting towards where I set myself up for life.
Well, that explains why my wife has ADD because she gets my good D. All right, so you're very distracted. So a good dick is a distraction. Got it. All right, so that's now. You got a fight coming up. I like Caitlin, super cool girl. We've had her on the show before. This is going to be now. Her main thing is karate. She was a karate champion. She's really good on her feet. Are we looking to take her down and grind now that you love wrestling so much? Or are we going to try to beat it? Your boxing is amazing. What's the strategy here? What are we going to look for? Or you don't want to tell us? Talk to us about the fight, though.
Well, Caitlin, you know, was really cool. Like, me and Caitlin were both in Dallas when the title, or when the fight, when Nico and Valentino both fell through, and me and her were both laughing and giggling the whole rest of the week. We were like, damn, dude, like, we wouldn't have went out and drank the night before had we known that this was going to happen. We'd be ready.
Right.
You know, like, we would have been ready. And I even told Sean that. I was out with Sean Shelby and those guys the night before, and I was like, damn it, I shouldn't have went and had a beer with you guys. I should have just stayed in my room, and I could have gotten to just be like, I'll cut weight and do it now. But, you know, Caitlin, she's a really cool girl, right? Like, she was, when I left flyweight, she kind of, you know, was the CFFC organization was kind of the big premier organization, and she really took over the flyweight when I left, and I feel like she's done a great job, and she's a great opponent, but I don't think that anywhere the fight goes that she's going to be ready for just my strength. If I stay on the outside and she tries to throw those karate kicks, I'm going to hit them down and come over with right hands. If she tries to avoid the takedown, I'm going to use feint. If she tries to point me, I'm gonna bully. I'm gonna blast her with a double. I mean, I'll press her up against the cage and I'll grind her and I'll pull her down. I mean, I know that I think I've talked with you about it before, or even seen some of my stuff. I know how big of a wrestling fan you are. I just fell in love with wrestling probably about a year and a half ago, and it's changed my whole game. It's my mindset on wrestling has completely changed. I respect the absolute crap out of them, and I'm so glad that 13 years into my career, or into training, you know, I'm 32, so it's like I started training when I was 19. I can now say that I found something new to love in my game that's made my striking, my kicking, and my power just go up.
I can't wait for this fight. Now, she's very loud. You watch her fight, she's always like, Kia, Kia, Kia. Now, I think that sometimes influences the judges. Are you going to be just as loud with your kicks?
Listen, I ideally I'll be hitting her so hard that she won't have the wind to make that kind of out of noise. And if that's the case, if I can't do that, believe me, my corner can be much louder than she is. So we know that's how the game goes, right? Like we've seen other corners do that where they try to persuade the judges, but I mean, one woman can't go up against my three corners. So I know that.
I can't wait for this fight. Now, you're from Cleveland, MGK. Has been feuding with Eminem. Are you on Team MGK?
Well, yes, I have to. That's my Cleveland boy. I mean, they're going to exile me if I'm on the wrong side of the freaking fence. But no, I mean, I appreciate them for supporting me. So I'm always a hometown supporter. So yeah, I got to go with MGK.
That one
I
song
was more hurt by G-Eazy. I'm a huge G-Eazy fan. I walked out to his last song and my last fight. Like G-Eazy is my favorite, and that's kind of where it came from. Like, they basically were like, Jess, you on our side or G-Eazy's side? And I was like, well, I'm with you guys, but I fucking love G-Eazy.
Yeah,
I love him.
Good. Now, your one teammate got screwed so hard, which is Stipe Miocic. Why he's not getting a rematch is insane to me. They're giving it to the Black Beast. Stipe broke the record for heavyweight defenses. He's amazing. He lost one fight. How pissed off are you? How's Stipe doing?
I think that Stipe, he's angry. He's not happy about it. I mean, you guys have heard him, on the radio and stuff, on interviews and stuff like that. I mean, it's unfair. It stinks that, unfortunately, saying the right things at the right time, it gets you, all the good fights, and it's all circumstantial, right? Like, it's be at the right place, right time, and you can do that. And unfortunately, I feel so bad for him because Stipe is probably one of the most incredible people in the world that the world's going to go unknowing of that side of him, and it stinks.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. He should get the thing. Any questions for the great Jessica I, Greg Wilson?
No, it sounds like you know what you're doing. You're keeping that D out of the way and focusing on your fight game.
Yes. Now, when you were on that losing streak, was it because you were getting good D?
No, I wasn't getting – that wasn't even – God, my life was – if I could erase a couple of years, but it's always like that shoulda, coulda, woulda. I just was having a really crappy time in life. There's so many more things that are behind and you peel back the layers. So, man, no, I have had good D, and I had great training, and life has just been great. Like, it's –
good.
The D was not the fault.
It wasn't okay. It wasn't the D. It was okay. Good. Well, listen, I'm happy for you, Jessica. I'm always rooting for you. I'm always a fan. I can't wait for this fight, December 8th in Toronto. I might be there. I might be in Toronto the night before doing a comedy show, which I'll announce sometime
Let's
soon.
go. Medical marijuana's out there now too. So I mean, why not?
Yes.
It's gonna be a great time in life.
Yes. Are you?
Medicinal marijuana. I can't even say medical. It's medicinal.
Yeah. Are you a fan of medical marijuana?
Everybody will be laughing at your show, even when you're not funny.
Wow. That really hurts. That's fucked up. That's like.
Look, I said a joke. Come on,
of
you
course.
gotta be proud of me for that.
100.
Inspired by the roasted himself.
Yes, of course. Well, listen, Jessica, thank you for being on the podcast. Have a great upcoming week. You're the best.
Thanks, you guys rock. Thank you.
Bye bye. All right, that was Jessica I, sweetheart. She's a cool chick. Greg? That's a cool Cleveland girl.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
It's great.
There's a little bit of news. I don't know if we're going to our next call right now, but
We
there's
don't-
a little bit of news that I'm actually interested in hearing your take on. I don't know if you've seen it, but
Is it
heavy
real?
rumors that Askren's coming to the UFC.
According to him, it's 98%.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing, that he's like close to signing. Ariel said it's not 100 yet, but they're close.
Well, I think he wants to fight in 165. He wants to be the one.
Would he fight Tyron?
No.
Because I know they're training. So he won't take a title shot at 170 if Tyron's champ?
No, I don't think he would fight with Tyron.
Does he go at 170 or does he go back to 185?
I think he wants to fight 165.
What if that's not a division?
I don't know.
He's just on the
I don't
sidelines.
I don't know. But you know what? Yeah, it's crazy, though. I'm looking forward to it, though.
I hope he does. And, that's probably the biggest name, most accomplished name as well, that like has never made it over. And it was always Dana's throwing such a fit about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to put this at the Super Bowl of MMA, you need to have the best names in the world. You need to get rid of these little bias and like allow certain people in. And Askren, I mean, in my opinion, has to be number one.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know me, I'm the biggest Askren fan there is.
Yeah,
Big
I'd
Askren
love to
fan.
see him in the UFC and, prove himself, stay undefeated, and, really fight the best guys in the world, because how many more guys are there in ONE FC for him to fight?
But my only fear is that he's past his prime.
That's the only, that was the only, con that
he's
came
like
to mind.
36, 37. I just worry that we didn't see the best of Ben Askren. But who knows? I mean, he takes very good care of himself. He doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink, doesn't fuck around, doesn't do steroids. He never been hurt. I don't think he's ever been rocked. So maybe, even this version of Ben Askren is just as good. I mean, he's a smart guy.
I mean, imagine if they did like him and GSP as a super fight.
I think he beats GSP.
I think he does too, but I think that's a major sell.
But GSP's been taking a lot of damage.
He is. They've both been around for a while. But
Yeah.
I think that's a phenomenal matchup.
GSP's one of those guys that people just want to see fight.
Of course.
Yeah.
They just, like he disappeared before people were sick of him.
4 years.
And then he barely came back. I mean, people want to see him fight.
He's a class act.
Yeah.
I think he's got really bad anxiety, honestly. Like he says, I think he has, like, I think he has terrible OCD, if I had to put a finger on it, because he, like, and I think he doesn't like having to go through all that. Fighting, it's a big toll on him,
Well, I think also when he was the champ and like the best in the world, I'm sure there were a lot less hoops he had to go through. He kind of would dictate his schedule, dictate, what he was doing. And now it's, you're out 4 years. You're not really in a position to be making demands.
You don't think it's just fear of being injured again?
No, I think he would say, like, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep at night.
Because the pain.
But I don't think it's that. I just think he's got some hang-ups, anxiety and depression and all kinds of stuff. And I think that's what makes him so human and so sympathetic and apathetic. And he's a good dude. Like, he's a really, really good guy. I mean, the only time he's ever really fucked up in his career is when he's lost the title to Matt Serra. When he said that he was partying before, not taking it seriously,
But he
going
got
out
it back
clubbing.
next fight.
I mean, that was a fucking beatdown and a half.
Yeah. He got it back next fight. I mean, GSP's
Kind of fucked
a
up they
name.
made that fight in Toronto too, or it was in Canada. Like, Sarah won the title. They should have had it like Long Island. I mean,
Even Sarah was like, I don't know if I'm making it out of this building
Sarah
alive.
walked into the wolves in that one. Oh my god, and he won it. I mean, they were like giving it back to. But anyway,
If I remember correctly, they needed security to get Sarah out of that
he was
building.
calling him Frenchie and making all those jokes, and which today is like light compared to the
Oh my
things people
God.
say now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other night that was like, Conor should have never said those things about Khabib's family and, the Chechens and all that stuff. And I think that lit a fuel under Khabib's ass, and like even more so than he was already ready. I mean, unfortunately, in this day and age, people can critique all they want, but I feel like trash talking MMA, like almost nothing is off limits.
Nah, but it's a different culture when you.
I think there's a lot of things. I think there's one thing
Well,
we learned
it's how they
from
take
the Khabib McGregor fight.
It's
Is
how
that
they take
there are
it.
definitely some things that are off limits.
People still don't like Ferguson for what he said about. Didn't he make fun of someone's dead father on Ultimate Fighter or something? Something happened and like it was.
No, I remember Koscheck and Bobby Southworth in the first season were like, Lieben, you're a fatherless bastard, and then they fucking hosed him in the sleeping bag, and that put Lieben in the hospital.
But yeah, there is stuff that's off limits, and especially when you're dealing with people from Dagestan or other cultures where it's not, it's different. Like even with GSP and Matt Serra, it's an American and a Canadian. So we kind of westernized. We're both
Right, with
on
shit
track.
People we understand shit talking is one thing.
But
and
when
then-
you're talking to a Muslim country, or
and half of Russia's coming to see.
people are going to tell me Dagestan is not a Muslim country. You know what I'm trying to say, okay? This Wednesday night, tomorrow night, I'm at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, and then at the Ice House on Thursday night in Pasadena. If you live in Oklahoma, Miami, Oklahoma, I'm at the Looney Bin Saloon this Friday and Saturday. The Casablanca Resort Casino, November 2nd. And then at the end of the year, I'm at the LA Comedy Club at the Stratosphere. Also, people, if you buy stuff on Amazon, go to adamhunter.com first, then click on the Amazon link, and then buy whatever you want. What do you got, CB?
I got the concert this weekend. How the West was won. Other than that, just working at the tattoo shop. Graffiti Palace Tattoo, North Hollywood, 4427 Lancashire. If you're an artist in the SoCal area and you're looking for work, if you got a little bit of a following or a big following, more than welcome to come check out the shop, show us your work, and we've got a station open. And
That's comforting.
That's it. Just trying to spend as much time with my family as possible right now and traveling a little bit.
Greg, what do you got coming up?
Saturday night, the Down and Dirty at the Hala Cafe. I'm telling you, it's so funny.
Again?
Whenever
Nice.
they promote it as just the late show, there's not a crowd at all, like 12, 15 people. But then we make it the Down and Dirty, and there's like 40 people. Like, it does so much better when it's the Down and Dirty show. It's really great, I think, because people are like, oh, okay, well, we know what we're getting.
Yeah, it was a
especially
good
because they're
turnout.
promoting me as the host and everything. I mean, that was twice as good as it had been the week before.
Nice.
So,
It was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't a shitty
Greg, you're
crowd.
also one of the best comics in the country.
Thanks, buddy.
coming-
There's sometimes this business makes you wonder if you even belong,
I know, it's the truth, though, man.
So thank you, brother. I appreciate
And
that.
you
I
got,
feel the same.
And I've seen almost every comic in this country. So
And you got fantasy football.
Yeah, Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. My podcast, find it on SoundCloud, Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. Look that up. Or if you follow me on Twitter, I post it always on Twitter as well.
Well, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Thank you, Jessica. Let's go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.